Hello there and welcome to the Card Grotto. Today I'm doing a dipped embossed butterfly with Wow embossing powder. So to start off with, I've cut the butterfly. This is one of the butterflies from the MFT Flutter of Butterflies lace collection. And I've cut that from some white cardstock. I'm just using a piece of scrap paper underneath and I'm taking the Wow embossing pad. This is clear ink basically that is really sticky, so it's great for embossing with. So I'm using an ink blending tool and I'm literally pouncing that ink onto the edges of the butterfly. You could go directly to the ink pad, but I wanted to get a sort of kind of like an ombre look, I suppose. I want there to be more concentration of the embossing powder on the edges and sort of going lighter towards the inside. So I'm trying to make the pouncing motion lighter towards the inside of the butterfly, and as I said, add more ink onto the outside. So it kind of looks like the wings of the butterfly have been dipped in glitter. So I'm just taking my tweezers here to lift that up just so that I don't get any sticky fingers. And then I'm going to add on Wow embossing powder. This is the metallic silver sparkle and this is an embossing glitter. So it's got pieces of embossing powder in it and also some silver glitter as well, which is really nice. It's really kind of sparkly. So I'm just adding that onto the butterfly there, tapping off any of the excess. I'm not tapping too hard because I want there to be some sort of, as I say, sort of particles on the inside. So it kind of fades out towards the inside. And then I can just use that coffee filter there just to funnel that back into the jar. Pop the lid on, make sure I don't spill it everywhere, which I have been known to do. And then I'm just going to remove any excess particles just from the right middle portion where the body is. And then I can heat set that. And because this is an embossing glitter, some of the particles do sort of fly off. It's better if you heat it from the back side of where you're embossing so that some of the glitter doesn't sort of all fall off. I didn't have a problem. I still had quite a bit of glitter on this and it looks really sparkly in real life. Unfortunately I can't really capture it on camera, but it is really pretty. So next up I'm going to work on the sentiment, and this is the Happy Birthday sentiment from the Clearly Besotted Tiny Type set, and I'm using that same embossing pad from Wow just to ink up that sentiment, and then I can stamp that down onto some black cardstock. I got the stamp upside down, but it doesn't really matter too much in this instance. And then I'm going to add on some Wow embossing powder in Opaque Bright White, and this is the Superfine version. I really like this for nice crisp white sentiments on black cardstock. And then again I can just heat set that, and I tend to heat from the front and the back. It helps with some of the warping. And then I can cut that out, and this is a die from the MFT Hearts in a Row vertical set. I really like it for small sentiments, so I can just run that through my die cutting machine. And here I've got a stencil and I'm going to emboss that onto some white cardstock, and this is the Geometric Star stencil from MFT. So how I like to emboss is I've got the main plate at the bottom and then I have the embossing rubber mat on top. I've then got the cardstock, I've then placed the stencil on top, and then I'm going to add a piece of white, this is just some scrap paper, and then I've got the embossing pad on the top, and this is the Spellbinders Platinum 6 machine. I really like it for embossing. So I can remove that and it leaves a really nice impression. It is a little bit difficult to see on camera because it's white on white, but again in real life it's really pretty. So I've got that panel and I'm just going to adhere that onto an A2 top folding white card base. You could just emboss directly onto the card base, but I do find it a little bit easier to do it this way. So I'm just going to stick that down onto the card base. A really nice embossed background there. Just gives a really clean and simple card just a little bit extra. And then I've got my butterfly here, so I'm going to add some liquid glue just onto the centre of the butterfly behind the body. And then using some tweezers I'm just going to stick that down onto the card base. And then I'm going to add a small little strip of 3D foam tape onto the back of the sentiment piece, just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then I can remove the backing from that and stick that down. And I'm just going to use a T-square ruler just to make sure that that's straight. And then last but not least, I can just manipulate the wings just to pop them up a little bit. Again, gives a nice little bit of dimension. I really like the sparkle on this card and the embossed background. Like I said, I do apologise that you can't really see it on camera very well, but hopefully in these photos it does capture it a little bit better. So that's the card finished for today. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Links to the products will be in the description bar on YouTube and also over on my blog. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.